High above the eastern coast of India, the Eastern Ghats rise out of the morning mist. This is a landscape defined by heavy monsoon rains, deep root systems, and a sprawling network of mountain streams. For centuries, these forests have been home to the Kondh and Paroja tribal communities. The surrounding jungle provides their daily food, firewood, natural medicines, and grazing for their livestock. The hills structure the tribal social order. Their rituals, historical memory, and spiritual authority are physically tied to specific ridges and growths. This is the Ma Mati Mali philosophy, Mother, Earth, Hill, where the Sijimali peak is revered as a living deity named Tej Raja. This diagram shows the hard ecological science backing up that reverence. The hills here are capped with a porous layer of laterite rock. During the monsoon, this rock acts like a massive hydrological sponge, absorbing the rainfall and slowly releasing it to feed perennial springs at the base all year round. Every spring and harvest in the valley depends on the health of the ridge above it. For those living in the mountain's shadow, the geography dictates their survival. But outside companies see this cross-section differently. That porous cap holding water is thick bauxite. Across the Sijimali and Kutrumali blocks, surveyors estimate over 400 million tons of high-grade bauxite are locked inside these hills. Bauxite is the primary raw material used to refine alumina, which is then smelted into aluminum. From commercial aircraft and construction framing to electric vehicle batteries and soda cans, global demand is surging, making this specific rock incredibly valuable. This sets up a direct, high-stakes collision. A multi-billion-dollar industrial asset is sitting directly beneath a sacred ecosystem that keeps thousands of people alive. Over the last year, the state government has aggressively auctioned off these mining leases to corporate giants like Vedanta and the Adani Group. These companies are planning to build mega refineries nearby, and they need a massive, steady supply of bauxite to feed them. To get the ore out, developers have to navigate strict environmental laws meant to protect forests. They often use a tactic called salami slicing. Instead of applying for one massive permit for the entire operation, they break the project down. They apply for a 3-kilometer approach road as a standalone project, securing quick approval to move heavy machinery up the hill before the mine itself is fully cleared. The government has even designated a new, dedicated rail corridor connecting the mines to the stations as a special railway project. This classification allows authorities to bypass standard state-level hurdles and fast-track land acquisition for corporate logistics. But the most contentious issue involves the mandatory village council meetings, known as Gram Sabhas, which are legally required to obtain the locals' consent. Investigations and legal appeals have revealed allegations of rampant fraud, with attendance sheets allegedly filled with forged signatures, including the names of miners and deceased residents. On paper, the project passes through the legal checkpoints. On the ground, the indigenous communities view these maneuvers as a forced, calculated invasion of their land. Extracting that bauxite is not a matter of digging a tunnel. The companies use open-cast mechanized mining. They bring in heavy surface miners and explosives to completely strip away the forest, remove the topsoil, and carve the rock out from the surface down. It leaves massive barren scars carved directly through untouched biodiversity. This mechanized extraction process generates intense noise and kicks up thick, reddish industrial dust that settles over neighboring agricultural plots, choking out crops and fragmenting the remaining wildlife habitats. This animation shows the most severe consequence. By physically cutting off the porous laterite and bauxite cap of the mountain, the mine destroys the region's hydrological sponge. The hill loses its ability to absorb and hold rainwater. Without that stored groundwater trickling down, the perennial streams run dry. The immediate ripple effect is widespread water insecurity and the collapse of the local agricultural economy. By stripping the bauxite, the mine breaks the cycle that keeps the springs flowing through the dry season. When the water vanishes and the soil hardens, the very foundation of village life collapses, leaving the community with no means to stay and no choice but to stand their ground. They chose to stand their ground. Villagers have built makeshift camps and physical blockades across the approach roads, maintaining day and night vigils to prevent excavators and company officials from reaching the hills. In April 2026, tensions boiled over into violent clashes. The state responded with heavy police crackdowns, enforcing prohibitory orders, conducting midnight raids in the villages, and arresting dozens of Adivasi leaders. Over 70 people were injured in a single confrontation over a 3-kilometer stretch of dirt road. State officials treat these blockades as a disruption to industrial progress. The villagers, however, view the mining as a permanent rupture of their ancestral lineage and the hydrological security of their children. The situation in Odisha poses a difficult question about modern economics. Extracting 400 million tons of bauxite will boost national GDP and feed global supply chains. But the costs of that extraction are entirely offloaded onto the communities who lose their forests and their water. The resistance in the Eastern Ghats is a frontline battle over how we value resources. It challenges the assumption that long-term ecological stability should be traded for short-term industrial output. If development requires the destruction of life and nature, is it truly development?